Okay, kids, I got a lot to unpack, so I'm just going to jump right into this. I follow a lot of developers in the US, investors, builders, etc., like billionaire types, not corporate. This is individual, self-made, bottom up, boots on the ground. I don't follow the Vanguard and BlackRock and Blackstone and all the bullshit of those folks, and I don't get my metrics from those numbers. So what happens in the US is definitely I follow a lot of US people. So what happens in the US is definitely pay close attention to it because it's happening in Canada. So whether it be on a smaller scale, but it's happening in Canada. So pay attention to that. So I'm going to give you a US metric here. Every 1% of home ownership reduction equals 1 million people that transfers over to the rental side. So I have some stats here that I pulled up. Homeownership stats for Canadians that were taken from the Canadian censuses from 2016 and 2021. The portion living in owner-occupied homes fell from 69% to 66.5%. That's 2.5%. So if we were to apply that metric to the Canadian market, where does that leave us? Is it 1 million per percent? Is that 2.5 million people that we're seeing? That's a big number because our population doesn't sustain what the US population does. So this is definitely something to pay attention to. Home ownership rate of 66.5% from the latest census is the lowest since 2002. Baby boomers are the biggest homeowner age group, accounting for over 40% of all homeowners in Canada. And get this stat, 60% of new homes were owner occupied in 2021. So what about the other 40%? Were they rentals? Did they go into the rental market? What percentage of mortgage rate do they have? What is the rent that they're charging? How affected are they by, how affected are the tenants that 40% of tenants potentially renting those properties? What are their rental rates? Approximately 35.5% of Canadian homeowners have a mortgage in 2023. Another interesting stat, because what are renewal dates? We all know on average we renew every 3 to 5 years. So if it is a tenanted property, what is the rate of rent going to go up? So these are things that you need to consider. Another interesting metric that I want you to watch is if you just watch this, the home ownership rental ownership rate relative to each other, this is going to give you a good idea of where we're going, because home builders and builders in general, they're investing. And if they're investing in single family home, they're investing for people that can afford to pay, people that can afford to buy it, people that can afford to rent it. So remember that. So the same thing is happening now. This is obviously from before statistically, but it's happening right now again. So right now, our average home prices in Canada are 2022, they were $704,000. In 2023, they dropped to $657,000. They don't seem to really be coming down for a variety of reasons. Obviously, let's look to immigration, because here we are with our fearless leader injecting our economy and our housing and our medical with 1 to 1.5 million immigrants a year. So I will basically say for this, I mean, the feds are in control of immigration. BOC even remarks on it that the feds are basically, the rate increases are in conjunction directly with our inflation and the feds because of what it is that they're doing with bringing in mass immigration. So this is a great metric to watch. So the delta between the average mortgage and rental rate. This is the delta. What is it? What is the average mortgage and what is the average rental rate? So if the average mortgage is increased drastically, it will continue to do so as mortgages come up. So think about it. As mortgages come up for renewal and rates have gone up, then that means that the mortgage rates are going to go up. What's the average rental rate at? Is it going to stay the same? Will it get drastically increased? Will it decrease? What's going on? Well, we all know rental rates have gone up. First of all, we don't have enough housing. We have mass immigration. So this is a big problem. So we need to pay attention to this delta, because I know this sounds really cliche, And I'm going to ask you the question here. Is it cheaper to rent or to buy? So here's where the little cliche thing comes in. If it's cheaper to rent, people are going to rent. If it's cheaper to buy, then people are going to buy. That's just what they're going to do, because that's what we do. We do what we can afford. So, but the problem we have in Canada is that rental rates have gone up so drastically because our mortgage rates have gone up so drastically. It's not because investors are greedy bastards, because the average person who owns one or possibly two rental properties, they're not in it for greed. They're in it for security, for their retirement, for maybe to be able to take a little bit of time off later on in their life, that they could retire early. That's not greedy. They work their butts off to get that second mortgage on that rental property. And in Canada, we have an even bigger problem, because they can have tenants that don't pay and you can't get them out, because here we are with our LTB, who is so far behind, and we have no rights, specifically in Ontario. It is very tenanted forward. So who wants to invest here? Who would want to invest here? Not very good business metric to follow. So as a potential investor, as a potential first-time home buyer, or as a potential seasoned investor, these are all metrics that you need to follow, because this is going to indicate where the market is going. Our price is going to go up. Our price is going to go down. What's going to happen to rental rates here? Pay attention to mortgage rates. I'm curious to know your thoughts on this, and I'm curious to know where you all think we are right now in this particular metric, and where you think this is going, and how do you think that this will affect us going forward. I have my opinion on this. Quick little synopsis. I truly believe that house prices are going to continue to go up. I think that especially since interest rates are going to decline going forward at some point, 2025 going into 2026 for sure, I think that we're going to see a mad rush into real estate again. You can play this video going forward in 1 to 2 years and we'll see where we're at. I'm happy if I'm proven wrong on this, because I would like nothing more than for housing to be affordable for everybody. I think we need to stop our immigration. I'm curious to know your thoughts. I'm curious to know what you think of these metrics. I'm curious to know what you think the percentages are. If you like my content, please subscribe, please comment below, and please share, because I'm here to help you get into the real estate market, because I truly believe as a Canadian, we work too goddamn hard to not be able to afford where we live. That's all. Peace out. Love y'all. Ciao for now. Bye.